Hey everybody, if the holidays are rapidly approaching, what is there, like a day left to go shopping and put those decorations up and anything and the wrapping. I still have to do actually the wrapping. So I just wanted to jump on here because today we're going to be talking about planning the next 12 months. And this is my exact process that I use to plan out my year ahead. And I'm actually doing this as well. And I did something a little different this year. And I'm going to share that with you as well. So while you guys are just kind of like hopping on, I'm just going to hop over here because I want to share it into my private Facebook group. And because I know there's a lot of people over there, that's where they watch from. So give me 1 second. And that is good for right now. There we go. So my fourth step in this process, just to kind of review what the first couple of steps were. Step one, we made that list of what did we accomplish this year. And I actually asked you to pull out your calendar and go through month by month. This morning I was actually on the phone with one of my private clients, and she said she did the exact process. She watched the replay, and she did step one. She was like, I can't believe how much I did this year. There's so much that I forgot about. And I kind of like chalk that up to, we almost get amnesia. It's like, oh, I remember like what I did recently, but to go all the way back into January and February and March, like the beginning of the year, that's where we forget some of the stuff. And I think we also kind of take for granted, like, that wasn't a big thing, but I wanted you to celebrate the big and the small things. Step two, last week, was about brainstorming ideas. I didn't want you to edit, download the worksheets and just write. Give yourself some quiet time, write. Then I asked you to put it down and come back to it the next day and revisit. Read the instructions, read what you've already written, and add some more, anything else that comes to mind. I wanted you to do that a couple of times, and then pull out a highlighter and highlight the stuff that's like, yeah, this has to happen next year. This is definitely on the list. And now we're going to actually plan. And so I want to sort of share with you what I ended up doing. What I ended up doing is, this is a little bit different than I normally do, but I actually wrote down all of those things that were highlighted on my brainstorm list that would, like, these I definitely want part of 2020. And I put them down on sticky notes. And it originally was the same color sticky note, to be perfectly honest with you. And then I noticed a theme. And I can't remember if I've noticed this theme before in the past, but this year there was such a theme. There were 3 different categories that I actually rewrote everything and just color coordinated the category. The categories were projects, money-making activities, and these were specifically just for my business, and goals. And there were a couple of things that they actually fit into 2 different categories. So I just kind of I made 2 of them and I put them in both those categories so that then I could I'll just show you. Then I had like these different colors. And I am such a visual person that I really want to look at my sticky notes, because the sticky notes, I'm then going to place them in what quarter will they feel good in. Now, the whole thing about all of these goals and projects, things that I want to accomplish, and money-making activities is I look at them and I say, that's a great goal. That's a great activity. That's a great project. But I always ask myself the question of why? What will this get me? If I do this, if I add this to the list, if I add this to the first quarter, second quarter, if I add this to wherever you want to add it, if this makes the cut into 2020, What's it going to do for me? Why is this so important? And again, I'm just going to like sort of talk about business reasons because I have a lot of other personal ones, and some of them are just very fitness related. And with the fitness stuff, it's more of like, hey, I just like want to accomplish this goal. Like, for example, one of my personal ones is I want to run another half marathon. It's been years since I ran a half marathon, and so that's on my list. And I actually do have a half marathon that I've already signed up for. So in order to accomplish that particular event, that goal, I also have to, like I know because I've done half marathons before that I just walk myself backwards 12 weeks. And that's when I need to really start my serious training. So let's go back to the business stuff, because a lot of times what I find people doing is they just kind of like grab different goals, almost like from out of the air. Like, this sounds good. I really would like to have this. A lot of my clients are actually in direct sales, and sometimes they're like, I want to get to this next level. Well, fantastic. What's that going to get you? Because I really do want to know the why. And I also want to make sure that, the more fun we have, the more fun it is to do, and then we don't dread doing it. So is this going to bring you fun and joy? How is like bringing more fun and joy into your life? Like, how will that change things? Or, I know this is something that I need to do. How can I make it fun and joyful and like just an experience? So you're going to take all of these things. And again, like, I'm a visual person, so I like to do the color-coded sticky notes. And then because it just helps me see. And because we're small businesses, we can pivot at any moment. So let's just say you have private clients and you're enjoying the private client, your client roster, but let's just say like halfway through next year or even 3/4 through the year, you're just like, I keep getting requests and messages to do a group program. And I think I want to try this group program thing, even though like it wasn't in your agenda or on your list of goals. That's the beauty of being in your own business. You can pivot and say, you know what? I'm going to try this. I'm going to do this. So what's this got to do with next year? Well, I don't want you to feel like once you make out a plan for 366 days, because next year is a leap year, I believe that's right. After, once it's not in stone, you get to change things, okay? So I want you to think of what's like this time next year, if you and I were sitting down over coffee or a latte in Starbucks, what do you want to tell me that you did this year? And I literally pulled out a journal and I did this exact same exercise. I think about, what do I want to say I did and accomplished this time next year? And then I start writing out what those are one by one, because then I want to go into depth, like, why is this important to me? Why do I want this? What will it give me? What will I get from it? Whether that's an experience, I get to learn something, I get to be a role model. It's going to make my business easier. I'm all about ease and like having different processes in my business, some sort of standard operating procedure that when this happens, it's like X equals Y. It's almost like basic math. But what will it get you? It's super important just to really think about that, so that you're not just grabbing things out of the air thinking this goal sounds good. Let's come down with some real concrete reasons so that you're actually the next year, you're actually working towards things that matter to you. That's super important. So I like to think of the 365 days, as here's the general feel that I want to be able to say at the end of the year. And then I kind of like, let's just take care of the first half of the year and not worry about the rest of the year quite yet. So now I want to get a little more detail about what do I want to accomplish in those 6 months. Fantastic. Now that you know what you want to accomplish in 6 months, I want you to really plan out 90 days. The first quarter, what are those things that you want to get done? So again, like I love the stickies because then I get to place them in today's worksheet. You will see places where it says first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter, so that you can take those sticky notes, if you do it with the sticky notes, or just write it in. I want to do that in third quarter. I want that project in second quarter. This is the goal that I want for my entire year. So what do I have to do to keep checking in on myself quarterly or even monthly so that I know that I'm on target and on track? Now, the thing with planning out your 90 days in 90-day blocks or even 30-day blocks is I want to make sure that you put into your calendar a date and a time to start planning for the following either 30 days or 90 days. So to make sure that you put that in your calendar so that if you're doing 90 days, sometime in March is when you need to start planning out the next 90 days, the second quarter of the year. So that gives you an opportunity to almost look back. Are these goals still important to me? Is this project still important to me? Is it something that I need to do, or is it something that I can delegate? And then you get to like, yes, I'm on target for this. I'm not on target for this. So let me speed up the process. Maybe I forgot about something. So here's one of the things that is on my list is to build up my private Facebook group, Entrepreneurs Making an Impact. I want to double it. I want to double it next year. But I just don't want to double it for the sake of having a number. But I want to double it because to bring in the right people, the right engaged people, because I believe that we all learn from each other. And I love how engaged this Facebook group is. And you guys know exactly who you are. I mean, you're on this Facebook Live right now. You guys, I love seeing your comments and your posts, in the group. And I want you to know that this is such a safe place for you to bring both your questions and also your solutions and like, hey, here's my ask and here's what I'm working on. And I want you to promote your stuff, your services, your products, everything, your races. I'm saying that to Christina specifically, but I want you to be able to promote that. So I want to make this a bigger, but not a huge community. So one of my goals is to double the size. So there's going to be, I'm going to be promoting the group also, but you guys as well. I'm going to be asking you hey, if you're in this group and you really like it, invite your friends, invite people that are dear to you, that would benefit from the information and being inside this community. So that's one of mine. You probably heard me say talking about email. One of my goals is also to, one is I'm moving my email list. You'll have to pardon, I have a little bit of a sore throat today. So one is I'm moving email platforms from one place to another. And over there, once I get over there, they're making so that there are certain rules and regulations that you have to follow when you're changing platforms so that I make sure that the email police do not come and knock on my door. So this is actually a plan, and it's not as easy as, oh, let me just open an account. There's going to be a plan and a process to do this so that it's done smoothly and it's not overwhelming me and it doesn't overwhelm my team as well. But my goal is also to grow that list, and I want to grow it and have more engaged people. Again, it's all about that engagement because that's how I can help people. And I love hearing from people. So if you are watching this right now and if you've ever responded to my emails, then you know that I actually respond back. It is my policy, my personal policy, that I really like to respond. If you take the time to email me, to reply to my email, I want to take the time to reply back to you. And that's something that I love doing. It hasn't gotten out of hand yet, so I'm going to keep doing it for as long as I can do it. So let me see. I just want to take a moment just to say hello, Juliana. I know that you're on here. Christina, Christina said she is going to do the second and third worksheet while cooking and drinking Chardonnay Christmas Eve. Oh, sweet. Any particular Chardonnay that you really like? And then she says, yes, race, swim, bike, run, all of the above. I'll have to reach out to you for some great places to go biking, because that's something that I know that my dad would like to. Up here, the biking season's a little bit short, and we didn't get that much biking in this year, so that's another thing that's on my personal list, is I really want to do more biking with my dad. He kicks my butt all over the road, whether it's on the street or mountain bike, if I'm completely honest with everybody. So let me just type in in case you're watching this, and you want to know where you can sign up for the worksheets. There they are. Let's see. I'm just gonna make that smaller, and so that you can get a copy of the worksheets. And next week is the final step. And you're probably wondering, like, well, Lorianne, like, after we did all this, like, planning, like, what possibly could there be for next week? Well, it's going to be more about, who do you need to become? This list that you've written out, that you've brainstormed, these are the things that I want. Well, what sort of a person has those things? Because maybe you need a new habit. Maybe you're really good at projects look overwhelming, and then that causes me to procrastinate. I find other things to do. And then before you know it, several months have gone by and I haven't worked on that particular project. So maybe the habit is, got to take what you got, the big project, and put it down into little bite size. How can we put those bite size in front of you? Maybe you need some sort of a whiteboard, or even take an easel with those big pads of paper and just write down, here are all the steps that I need to accomplish so that I finish this particular task. I finish this project. I stay on target for my goal. Like my particular email goal, I'm going to be creating some new opt-ins. And that's why I asked people on my personal page, and I also asked people in the Facebook group, hey, what are you interested in? I want to hear from my people, because you guys are looking for some information, and you tell me what you need. And I love hearing from you. So this has been part of step 3. Step 3 is now let me take what I got, what I want, what made the highlighted list. These have to be in 2020, and then you lay them out. And one of the things that I've noticed while walking through this process is that you sometimes end up with these long lists of things that you want, that while you're brainstorming, which is why I have you pick out the highlighter, so that you can pick out, these are the must-haves. And when you do that, you notice wow, this is manageable. I got 366 days next year to do these things. And I can accomplish them all if I do it smart. And I'm not talking just about SMART goals, but if I'm kind to myself, if I put them in the right category or quarter, place them at the right time so that I accomplish those goals. So that come this time next year, we're all bragging about what we did, because I want you to brag, which is why on Fridays, the post that goes out about hey, what are we celebrating this week? What did you accomplish? What are you bragging about? What are you going to brag about is part of my Monday post. So I'm just going to switch gears a little bit and just turn it over to you guys and just say, hey, what questions do you have for me? Or even just some comments, in doing the brainstorm and doing the first steps. Christina, I know that you said that you haven't done the first step, but just kind of hearing about this, have you come up with anything this is I want to do this. I want to accomplish this next year. This is important to me personally or professionally. Love to hear from you. I'm here just to support you, and I love it when you start sharing. So, and speaking of sharing, sharing is caring. So if you, I would love it if you would share this Facebook Live with others. The best way to do that is either to go to my personal page to share it, or even my business page to share it. And if you're in my Entrepreneurs Making an Impact group right now watching this, if you share this outside the group, one, there is no share button, and you could only share it with people who are actually our members of the group anyways. So going to my business page or my personal page, you should be able to find the Facebook Live and you can share it from there. And again, sharing is caring. Christina says, her question is, about how long will this take? Should I give it X amount of hours? So Christina, the first step, being able to acknowledge what you did accomplish this year, I would say give yourself at least an hour. But if it's hard to like scramble up like an hour right now, I mean, even if you just did like a half hour, see how much you could acknowledge, like going through your calendar about all the things that you have accomplished. What are some of the things that you did this year? Or even like, who did you become this year? Just be able to acknowledge that. And since you're having a glass of wine while you're doing this list, I highly recommend that you're also very intentional about celebrating those things. I mean, literally like cheers to me. And then the step 2 does take a little bit more time, but the only reason why it takes a little bit more time is because I really do, and I will show you one of mine. So like here is the worksheet. Here's the worksheet. Is that because I want you to brainstorm and then put it aside. And then come back to it, read the directions, while you're being a little quiet, read through what you have written, and then see if that sparks any more ideas and keep adding to the list. Once you've done that a couple of times, so it could just be like small, like it may only take you 15 minutes to brainstorm and answer all these questions. There are journal prompts as well. But to be able to just like come back to it, like if you do this in the evening, like to come back to it like the following morning, or if you started in the morning, just to be able to look at it sometime in the afternoon, you'll be able to speed through it really, probably pretty quick. Let me see if there are any other questions. And next, like this week, to be able to, if you do the colorful stickies, like I did, you want to be able to just kind of like lay them down in front of you. But again, grab your glass of wine and just kind of like look at them, figure them out. See if there's like categories that all of your goals, your wishes, your desires for next year fall into. So I'll just kind of hang out and see if there are any other questions. But I'm like super excited about 2020. Who is excited? Give me some thumbs up or some hearts if you're excited for 2020. I always think like a new year is kind of like a new outfit, but a new decade. This feels like a new wardrobe this time. I don't know about you, but I'm very excited about it and just looking forward to it. Let's see. So again, hope you've enjoyed this process. Let's see, I'm just kind of checking to see if there are any other questions. Sometimes depending on where people are watching from, will depend on where the questions are. So if you have written down some questions and I'm not seeing it right now, trust me, I will go back to them and I will answer any questions that you have. And if you were watching this on the replay, I will definitely be answering your questions as well. And just to also let you know, if you're considering want to know how to add more speaking, into your business or use it as your main form of marketing so that you get positioned as the expert, which leads to more leads, easier sales calls, and a profitable 2020. I have one spot that's open. It's opening up in the middle of January, and you can jump on a call with me, and I will be sure to add that to the comments below. Let's see. Okay, you guys all have a fabulous evening, and I will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful Christmas. I do celebrate Christmas myself, but if you're not celebrating Christmas, happy holidays. And I will see you next Monday when we go through the final step, and we are going to talk a lot about you.